And our next guest on the Rink Shrinks, a veteran now of our 150 NHL games, just recently completed a season, 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and just signed a nice little off-season free agent deal with the Edmonton Oilers. Welcome to the podcast, Milton, Mass native Ryan Shea. Sheazo, what's up, kid?
Nothing. Thanks for having me, fellas.
No, it's great. Guest number 2, original, coming out of school, getting into the pro ranks. Now you're established, and congratulations on your deal, man. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you've earned everything that you've gotten to this point, and you're being rewarded a bit. And I just want to say, I'm just super, super excited that we can root for someone, hometown kid, but like who's earned it and has done it the right way. And we'll get into that, but I just wanted to hit that off the top of the show here. Wicked proud of you.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it definitely took a it was a bit of a grind. Took a little longer than I wanted, but everything worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the great thing, right? When we had you on, like Mott said, guest, original guest, right? Guest number 2 in the entire show, dating back to 2021. You're just coming out of school. So we talked a lot then about youth hockey and playing at Northeastern. So now let's get into the pro stuff, right? You start your career, you sign with Dallas, 3 years down in Texas in the American League, playing, 27 games, 66 games, 70 games. So you grinded, right? You grinded through those minor leagues. But what was the transition like from, college hockey to pro hockey for you?
Yeah, I think it was just how fast everything moves. I mean, I don't think my game switched too much. It was just it was a lot faster. Guys are a lot stronger. I feel like college, you obviously have a lot of older guys, and guys are definitely strong, but pro is more a mixture of strength and speed. And I think that was probably the longest, hurdle I had to jump there. And once I got to pro, and obviously, it was unfortunate coming out during my first pro year was COVID year, so it was a weird year. You couldn't really get fully used to it. So for me, it was more of the second year. It probably took a year and a half to kind of know what type of player I was in pro hockey.
So that's like important. I think you kind of touched on 2 things. You actually kind of haven't really changed your game since college, but knowing your game and how it can translate to pro, and just believing in it. That second year, you get your, feet wet a little bit with the 27 games during that, lockout year. And then, not lockout year, but COVID
lock out of the rink year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lock out of life.
But then, you play your full season, you put up good numbers. But like, as I watched you, like, at Northeastern, you just apply that and just believe it and know that it can translate. And then when you have the opportunity to be able to play at the highest level, you don't have to change. They know your game, you know your game, and you can duplicate it. And that's something we talk about here all the time to like young, more focused towards the younger players. Like, you got to know your game, but like figuring it out at that pro level is very, I'm not gonna say difficult, but it's just trusting in yourself and betting on yourself. And it seems like that's what you did, and that's what you continue to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my game really changed. I mean, you got to be realistic when my senior year, I was running a power play for Northeastern, but I knew that whole year was more just trying to get wins for Northeastern, but I knew I wasn't going to be a power play defenseman in pro hockey. I think guys are so hung up on points nowadays that it's, you see the guys in the NHL that run a power play, they're the most skilled players in the league. It's like, there's only
a handful of them.
I was about to say I wouldn't say there's probably 12 to 15 teams that actually have a number 1 true power play D-man. But I think for pro, it was just you got to find a role pretty quick, and I think coaches and development staff really, it's easy now because there's so many of them that they kind of give you a role early on. It's just whether or not a young player wants to take that role or not and kind of step into that out of their comfort zone. But like you said, my game didn't really change. I mean, I was more puck moving, defensive minded in college, I would think, and I think that's just carried over to pro.
Was there somebody, whether it was with Dallas or when you make the transition after your third year to the Pittsburgh organization, but was there somebody that, kind of like sat you down, whether it was a coach, skills coach, development guy that kind of like really helped you, I guess, hone that craft, right? And talk you through those things?
Yeah. I mean, I think like there's a lot of guys out like back home that for sure help, but my coach, who's now one of the assistants for Dallas, Neil Graham, like in the A, he pretty much put me in every situation. And because I want to Bleav that I earned to be put in that situation. And obviously in pro, it's unless you got that first round tag next to you, it's hard to, you got to pretty much work for everything you get. And I think once he gave me the confidence that I can play at that level, I think it's just, you can climb from there. And obviously it didn't work out in Dallas, but I think in 2 years, they probably had one injury, and I think it was a week long. So it was kind of just and they're so good that it was a tough organization to kind of be in, but he helped me mature my game, helped me kind of, I guess, take the next step. So I don't regret those 3 years in the AHL because I think I'm here now because of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like, kind of value in the details of the game, and like your details are, are really good, meaning like you understand pressure going back for pucks, and I think you're better going back under pressure. Like I wrote that in my reports. I'm like, this kid, like when you have time, then you just kind of like, you can play, but going back under pressure, that's one of the biggest things when you can make good decisions under pressure. And like whether it be a 5-foot chip, well, you guys use the middle of the ice a ton and at Northeastern. And I saw you doing it this year in Pittsburgh, at times, because the center's there. But that is very important. And I think that goes back into hockey intellect and having a feel for the game. And we talked about this in episode 2, but you were a forward up until you were like 16, 17 years old, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And like just having that awareness of, how other teams are forechecking versus you're just going back blind and you're on an island. Your partner, you're talking to your partner, you have trust in your partner, whatever it may be, however you want to break a forecheck. But like I think that's one of your biggest strengths. And that goes, overlooked by like the average fan. But the people that are watching, Edmonton in particular, Pittsburgh, Dallas obviously had you, earmarked a bit, but I just want you to know like that's very important. And it's not sexy to the score sheet. It's not like you're blowing up the score sheet, but you're exiting the zone with possession consistently. And that's like a huge thing that we talk about here.
Yeah. I mean, especially now playing just finished my third season in the NHL, like it's very rare that you get the puck for a breakout with no pressure. Like it's just, you have to be able to break out there in pressure. And like you said, it's easier sometimes when when you can shield the guy and you can use your body to push him to one side and he's already out, like kind of out of the play. It's in those situations, it's definitely easier. But like, I mean, in the NHL, like they dump the puck in. It's very rare that all 5 guys on the other team are going to change. Like everything's so strategic that they're at least sending one guy. And I think you got to be able to break out the puck, whether it's one guy or 3. And I think, honestly, one of the best breakouts is when you have pressure and you are able to take a hit and move the guy. And because maybe you're not making the sexy play, but a 5-foot bump to your D partner is better than turn the puck over. So
way better. Yeah. And that's something that you do well. So, keep it up, because you can just slide it to the next guy, meaning Connor McDavid, and you'll be getting assists from that.
We'll take those second apples. I'm just disappointed you didn't credit your Uncle John. Like we've all seen his game at Quincy Shenny Saturday night Toolsy skate at the Shea rink. Just the way that he can just like sees the game and his hockey IQ. And, when I talked about you kind of grinding through the minors, I figured it would be like, him leaving brick and beam on a Thursday night, kind of coaching you up for the weekend. But Apparently not. Sorry, Johnny. I was trying to get you a little plug, but guess not.
I mean, I've caught him a couple times having my car parked at Wally, and he's looking through my back window to see if I have any sticks there, which is crazy because he's 6'9" with hands the size of my whole body, and I'm using an 87 flex cut down, and I'm like, I don't even know how you would use this out there.
Yeah,
well, he might have to bend his
guy
knees.
of his skill level, though, it doesn't matter. Like, he could play with a mini hockey stick. Yeah. He could play with a straight up like a Titan from back in the day, a Christian, the old school Synergy, new school, 110 flex, 75 junior. It doesn't matter. The guy he can do it all.
The guy can just play.
That's it. But on a serious note, right? Just breaking in and getting in that locker room with Pittsburgh. What's it like, right? You're walking into a room, Malkin, Crosby, Letang, Erik Karlsson, right? Guys like that, obviously legends of the game, guys that have been around for, just that, you grew up watching, right? So how do you find your place in that locker room?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's tough. Well, like, you walk in, you see all those guys, you're kind of like, I mean, some of those guys are hard. It would take a little bit longer to get, not get used to, but it takes them a little, to warm up to. So I think Gino, it was on the slower side, but the first time I walked in, I probably had a 15-minute conversation with Sid, and we obviously knew mutual friends. The first time he came up to me, he goes, "You're Keith's buddy," talking about your brother, and I was like, oh, here we go. I was like, it can be anyone's buddy.
He's a little older than me, but yeah.
I was like, if that makes you talk to me, I can be his best friend. But like, no, it's just like every locker room. It's gonna be the same in Edmonton. You're walking in with probably arguably the best player to put on skates, and you got Draisaitl, like even Hyman, Bouchard, all these guys but like you said, like going into watching those, I guess older guys go to work and what they do every day. And I remember I was injured last year with Gino, and like, I don't know if maybe it doesn't look like it on TV, but in those injured skates, he is absolutely bagging himself at whatever age he is. And I know he might get a bad rep sometimes on the ice, but these guys put in the work, and it's easy to feed off those guys. And after the first couple months, you kind of they were so welcoming, and I appreciate everything all those guys done for me.
And I know just even having Hazy there, right? I remember, a couple of years ago being out at the USHL Classic, right? And, just the fact that Kevin was there, being another Boston guy, right? Great guy. And you weren't exactly sleeping on his couch, but you were the plus one at the house with him and his fiance, girlfriend at the time, right? So I'm sure, having a goofball like him around helps. Yeah,
I mean, you guys both know him. I honestly think he's probably one of the best teammates I think a lot of guys had. Like, he said it before his first year. He was like, give me a week and Sid will be my best friend. And like, it was just like, I've never seen a guy like open up. Like, he was just like that. Like, whether it was making fun of him or just like getting those guys to open up, like, he was loved by every teammate. And obviously every training camp I would go out there and live in his house. I mean, I wouldn't say on his couch because that house is 13,000 square feet. For
That's why I said not exactly on his couch.
Yeah. I was like, but no, him and his wife were just unbelievable to me. And then this past year, they with their newborn was there running around, but he made everything easy for me because whether he obviously being a veteran that he is, like, I think he has 800 games, like he would get invited golfing and he would be like, well, it's like me and Shays, or it's either me or Shays, or it's no one. So like, it's easy to root for that guy, root for a guy like that. And to this day, I mean, he's probably one of my closest friends. And I think it's been, everyone knew him in the Boston area. Like, I knew him a little bit, him and Jimmy, but 2 years ago, I really got to know him, and I feel like I've known him my whole life. So that's just the that's just what he puts out. And it's funny you bring that up because I still get crap.
You still get chirped about the restaurant you brought us for.
Yeah, and you ate it too, which was hilarious.
Of course I did.
Juniper Grill, I still get heat from that from like half the team, and I'm like I didn't know what was good at that point. Like,
so it's called Juniper Grill.
Yeah, it was just like a place.
Stay clear.
I still like it, but like you go on the road and you go out with some of these guys, you're going to like these high end like restaurants, and I'm like, all right, maybe Juniper isn't that great.
Yeah, it's all relative, right? And obviously you're going out with me and, my 15-year-old at the time or 14-year-old. It's like, yeah, let's get an early meal and get rid of these guys, So,
it's no lobster.
At the end of the day, Hazy knows. I think it was Shazo's turn to pay, so he's like, we're gonna opt for Juniper.
Yeah.
And Alligator arms me. I'm like, you sure?
Where's the bathroom?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, so Shazo, you're talking about like some of the veteran guys there and whatnot, but was there anyone in particular on the back end that really helped you? I mean, like you were paired up with a couple different guys during the year, but and again, your game, but like at that level and just trying to produce like what you can duplicate. Was there anyone that you can speak to on that side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a little bit of a negative thing for me. Is just I'm like pretty hard on myself. I like to at least try to be perfect during the game, but after getting a couple of years on your belt, that you're playing 82 games. About 15 of those aren't going to be your best. And I remember this past year when I was playing with Tanger for probably the first like 35, 40 games, one game against Minnesota, we were out there for every goal against. I think we lost 5-0. Well, I think we were -5.
Ouch.
And
had a couple.
Me in my head, I'm like, well, that's like, I'm going to get moved down the lineup, all this. And like, Tanger's like, no, you're fine. Like, trust me. At the moment, I'm like, well, Tanger, you're a legend. Like, you can say that to try and make me feel better, but like nothing's going to happen. Like, everyone knows nothing's going to happen to you, but he was really good to me, Tanger. He calmed me down in situations. I think we both get heated and we were a good combo. And then I think him and Carl were just unreal. Like, Carl is more of like, he's just like someone would fall on the ice and this guy would be dying laughing on the bench. Like the way he just approaches the game, and he's like unbelievable. So it's like, I think Tanger's more, like Tanger's more of like, I would talk to him about serious things. And like, if I try to like, Carl would always bring me over after practice and like work on things. But at certain times I would like ask him something serious and Carl would just like laugh. And I'm like, I'll go ask Tanger. But
I don't know how I do that. I just do it. Like,
exactly. Like,
I can't teach you that.
Yeah. I'd be like, Carl, how do you go about like going back for a puck? He would be like, I don't know. I'm one of the fastest guys in the league. I'm like, that's fair. But it was a perfect,
just a gazelle out here. Like,
it was a perfect combo between serious and like kind of lighthearted. And when you get both those guys off the ice, they're great guys. So I think those two were huge with me. And another person is honestly Matt Grzelcyk last year. He kind of like, we had our little Boston crew of me, Hazy, Noel Chari, and Grizz, and he played unbelievable. Quinny loved him. Like he was playing great hockey. Like the team loved him. He was running our first power play, did great on it. But like he was a guy that I knew I was close with, and I could ask him and say anything to him, and he always gave the right advice.
That's awesome.
Good family, great people.
Great people. Yeah.
I forget that he was there the year prior, and obviously moving on to Chicago. But that's I mean, it's great to hear these stories of just different guys, right? And just working together. And then it comes back to Boston. Another story that I know gets brought up all the time too is with that Boston crew. We were down in Florida, Motts, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And Shazo, Noel, Achari, and Hazy end up over at the house, and we start playing a trivia game. And let's just say Shazo was not on the winning team.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
I was probably
he's got to
the-
work on the. He talk
said
about
it
a
right.
-5.
Yeah, I
Was
said
it
it
state
right.
capitals? Was it
I
state
said
capitals?
it. I said it right away too, and I wasn't playing the next day. I think I was.
You hurt.
that was-
You were hurt. You had hurt your thumb, I think.
Oh yeah. I had a broken hand, so I wasn't playing, but I was on the trip. So I was
Yeah.
digging into a little bit of the
He was in
Yandle
the-
stash in the
Yeah,
fridge.
yeah.
So I
You were with me and the retiree at the
yeah,
time,
and,
Keith. So you were
Yeah,
more
so-
at our level.
yeah. So I was I wasn't in the best mindset at that point, and I was with my team was Hazy, I think, and Keith versus the two wives, Bri and Noel, and it was
Yeah,
just like.
When you're on my team, you get the extra player because I'm.
Yeah. But it wasn't a good showing, that's for sure. Especially with Keith and the Hazy. Like once we started, I'm like, "Do you guys play this like every other day?"
Yeah,
And like Hazy was like, "Yeah, we do actually." I'm like,
it's actually
"Oh,
funny how good they are. They're like
Yeah.
sneaky for
That-
you know.
They memorize the questions. He probably goes to bed, reading them.
He does something.
Yeah.
He's actually pretty good.
I love it because Noel Chari got no heat for it. I don't think he like barely spoke a word because
Yeah.
Brian was more just like making a joke out of the whole thing, but the two wives were like professionals at it, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
well, there's
Kristen
no
and
chance.
Joanna, they take the games pretty serious. It's
Yeah.
like, all right. And
I
never
was
mind if
like-
the shot clock's on finally. It's no, you go. I told you it was going to be wrong. I told you it was going to be wrong. You should have went with my answer. It's like, oh my God, pass me the red. Fill it up. I've been around long enough. I know not to get in the middle of that stuff.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
back to the back to the hockey stuff, right? So, talk about this year. Just like, I guess, finishing off your career, right? Knowing you're going into free agency. I know we talked throughout the year a little bit, and you're like, we're waiting, trying to figure things out. But what was it like? Kind of like just being a free agent, right? Like, what's going to happen, right? Talk us through that process.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people. I honestly I wasn't thinking about it as much as I think people wanted me to think about it because like I was playing good hockey. Yeah, I was playing good hockey and I was having so much fun because everyone thought we were going to be a lottery team and we ended up making the playoffs. So like,
That was
it was
awesome.
kind of just like even like the media out there, even part of our media, they're like people were shocked and we were kind of like we were scoring goals on a crazy rate and it was just fun hockey and obviously I was having a great year and Pittsburgh was unreal to me. The new coaching staff, you make a mistake and they're putting you right back out there 30 seconds later. So it's kind of hard to dwell on mistakes and your confidence just goes through the roof. And that was half and half with the teammates that I had, but also the new coaching staff. Just talk about, I mean, me going into a locker room with those guys, like new coach coming into a locker room with those guys was probably pretty crazy. And I thought Muser and his staff did a great job of just kind of letting everyone play their game while having structure, and it worked out for us.
Yeah, good Ken guy. We were at the Classic there in Pittsburgh, and his voice was like shot. I mean, like he's not so much of a yeller, but maybe like early on in training camp, he was getting going. But did you get a chance to go, talk to Youngstown or anything while the Classic was going on?
I didn't. I saw my old GM, Jason, when I was, I think the first day, because I always go up and see Jerry Keefe.
Yeah.
And like he's always out there. So I sit with him for a couple periods. I think his son played in it not last year, but the 2 years before. So we would watch a game of his and they talk about an absolute packed rink. That's insane. Yeah. Like, and I don't even know how they like after a couple of Muser's practices. I don't even know how they skated on it later because we were getting back pretty good. Like he pretty much told us that there wasn't going to be any skate tests, but that might have been worse than a skate test. The first and second day, but No, I didn't talk to Youngstown at all. It's pretty funny how I ended up in Pittsburgh, though. Like right down, I used to play in that with Youngstown, and it's pretty much right down the street. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, Coach Muse treated it like a Buddy Yandle Canton High practice back in the day. Did you guys must have talked about the Milton Canton connections?
Oh yeah, all the time. He would bring it up like every day, whether after a bad result from us or a good result. He was good at making sure that he was involved in pretty much everyone on the team's lives, and it makes for a good locker room for sure.
Oh, that's great stuff.
That's amazing. Yeah, he came on and like telling his story, and he's done.
He was still at the national program at the time.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, was he at the national, or was he in Nashville? He went from Nashville to.
I think it was. He went to the pros like shortly after. We bumped him up.
Yeah. He got the ring shrinks bump.
Yeah, that was
right.
Interview with us.
No, but he's a super coach. He's a super person, number one, and that's awesome to hear about him knowing about like day-to-day things, or just individuals, what's going on with you, and because he does care, and that comes from Buddy Yandle, I would say.
It's great stuff. Well, let's get into Edmonton a little bit before we let you go. Right? How excited? Right? You sign a deal there. This off season, like how fired up are you? Right, obviously it's going to be a transition, but just a sign, and you already talked about it, right, a little bit with playing with Bouchard and McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman and those guys, but it must really fire you up, and you must be anxious to get to meet those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, it was just. I feel like I've been on 1-year deals my whole career, so getting a little bit of like a safety net is awesome. I think that was me and my agent's goal the whole time, is to try to get a little bit longer of a deal, and it was a hard. Obviously, once they came in with 5 years, it was hard to pass up. But it's also, you're going to a team that has a chance every year to win it, as long as you have those big guys. And I think they picked up a lot of good guys to be almost depth players like myself, and hopefully I can help them. Yeah, hopefully I can help move them in the right direction. But yeah, I think it's just it's going to be different for sure. It's going up to Canada, so it's definitely very far from home. But I think I got all the hockey on the East Coast that I needed through college and Pitt. So now it's just, you get the deal, and now you're just focused on winning and playing with those guys. It's just going to, like, a lot of guys, people reaching out, even my dad, like, he's like, when you're done playing, you get to say you played with Crosby and McDavid, who will both probably end up on the Mount Rushmore of hockey. So
sure.
You can't really you can't really be upset about that.
No.
Did he try to steer you away so that he could, still stay close enough so he could drive? Or
he was definitely he wanted me on the East Coast. So let's just say that he wanted me somewhere that he can. It wasn't even the drive or anything like that. It was more just so he could go to bed at a reasonable time. Now I think he's probably going to have to take a nap at like 7 or 8 and then wake up for those 10 o'clock Eastern time games. So we'll see what happens. I think my mom was obviously pumped. She's not the big, like, she'll watch on TV and all that, but she's not the biggest on going to games. I think she gets a little nervous, but all that does is, me being in Edmonton, that just makes the crowd that's going to come to the game when I play the Bruins even bigger, which is we'll see what happens.
That's amazing.
Like you said, just that transition. And I remember obviously when Keith broke into the league and being out in Phoenix, right? And we were all on the East Coast, and it's awesome though, right? Because you're up late, and you're watching the games. Like you said, if you got to mix in an app, like at that point in time, I had little ones. I'm like, hey, I'll take the midnight feeding. I'm like, I got that, no problem. Like I'll be up at that point. So it's really cool. And I think, like you said, to play for such a storied franchise, right? not only the McDavid and Draisaitl, like the current era, but the old school and the tradition of the Edmonton Oilers. And it's, I know that the Milton Oilers, that Billy Maharis and those guys, they're a big, men's league squad. So, they're expecting big things out of you.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be something. It's going to be something, but experiencing all those West Coast teams in your conference, like, is obviously something new. Like, growing up, being from Boston, like, you're very familiar with all, like, the Rangers, like all those teams on the East. And so getting a different part of the country, both countries, is going to be, I think, pretty cool. Obviously it gets very cold there, and I'll be ready for the cold, but at the same time, like, you're going to the rink and you're coming home, or you're on the road. So it can't be, in my mind, it can't be that bad.
Yeah, good ice. And as far as, like, just projecting, like, partners and all that, I watched Edmonton quite a bit. If you are with Bouchard, just know that you have to play your game. You have to play deep.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
mean,
mean, he does his thing. But anyway, that's just a personal opinion. But
yeah.
So just know what you're up against.
We'll see what happens there. I mean, I think just looking at their, like, the decor that we have, I think you can kind of put anyone with like any lefty with any of their righties. Like, I think Connor Murphy is very, very steady, and he would be.
Great
is also Emerson's also a great defensive D-man, and obviously you got the big tandem of Ekholm and Bouchard that just, those guys just click everywhere. So I think their decor is pretty legit, and I'm excited to get working with those guys.
It's exciting, and we're pumped up to watch the games as well. But before we let you go, let's get to the myhockeyrankings.com question of the week. So, hey, off-season time, right? We're mid-July. Obviously, you're gearing up, getting ready for camp. But what is the I would say, what does the day-to-day, the week-to-week look like, right? We always get questions in our mailbag kind of like the balance of what kids should be doing. So as as a professional hockey player, what does that day-to-day, week-to-week look like, mid to late July as we're in right now?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think the last 3 years, just as you get older, I think you have to get on the ice sooner. That's just what I Bleav, and it just works for me. I know some guys stay off the ice until late July or maybe August, but I think just the day-to-day is just work out early. I like to work, like, pretty much wake up and go to workout. So whether that's at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. And then right now I'm trying to skate at least 3, mostly four times a week. But in the summer, it's just, you play so much hockey during the year that you still got to live your life, whether that's golf, travel, hanging out with buddies. You can't let the summer go to waste, because during the season you're so locked up and so dialed in. But I would just say, just obviously you gotta focus on your craft pretty much like every day. But being a hockey player at the pro level, your day is most likely done around noon or 1 p.m. and you can't let those remaining hours go to waste. And you still got to enjoy life and all that, whether it's family, a hobby, or whatever guys like to do. But that's pretty much the day-to-day.
What's the handicap at?
4.6.
All right. So there you go. Yeah, we know the hobby. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I guess part two, like when you talk about being on the ice, right, and getting a little bit older, like what does that ice time look like, right? Because we get kids and it's like, oh, we're playing in the 50th tournament of the summer and all that stuff. So what is, I guess part two of the My Hockey Rankings question of the week is like, what's that ice time look like for a guy like yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the later in the week, we usually get together with, there's a bunch of NHL guys or AHL college around here that you can easily play. Later in the week, I would say, is more 3-on-3 on a small ice, just working with those small area games. But early in the week, when you're playing the games, it probably can run close to an hour and a half, even a little bit more. But probably try to stay around an hour 10 when I'm doing the other stuff is just getting as many touches as possible, whether it's on the blue line or on the wall, like anything that can help your play. You obviously don't have to bag yourself, but I mean, the story as old as time is like Kucherov gets on the ice pretty soon after the season. I think he does something around 150 rims catching them on his backhand. So I mean, and look what he does. Look what he does day in and day out. So it's just about moving with learning how to move, I guess, with the puck, putting in good positions to protect yourself from getting hit or protect your next guy from getting hit, and just learning how to move better every day. And I think that's right now. That's why I obviously like coming home, because I feel like my routine and is pretty dialed in between playing games and kind of getting more conditioning, and then and then early in the week just using stuff that you're gonna run into in a game.
Right. So a lot more like slower kind of skill stuff early in the week, and then, more in tights, 3-on-3s, still working on your skills and stuff, but playing against those guys. So it's a great balance, right, Mott?
Yeah.
No, it really is. And it's like game applicable, right? Like those rims, if you happen to be on your offside as a D-man, how are you collecting it? Are you collecting it with your foot, kicking it to your skate? Are you taking it on the backhand, depending on like how hard it is? So just seeing those situational tendencies and then being able to execute in the game, that's like what you want, right? So if you practice like things that aren't as, say, cool, like the Instagram, flip it over a stick and toe drag, flip it up, knock it down. It's like, come on, like you're never going to do that in a game, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you have a bounce and puck and have to corral it. That's it.
Yeah. I feel like this summer you can kind of get carried away working on things that I guess you're good at. And I think it should be the complete opposite. It's just like the summer is a time that you don't have 20,000 fans looking at you. You're like, it's you and your boys and your skating coach, whatever it may be, and you're just working on stuff that is a weakness, and maybe you can turn it into, whether you turn it from a 20% to a 40%, it's at least you're doing something. And if you don't work on those things in a game, and then you get mad because you didn't, I guess, execute in a game, to me, it's like, well, did you work on that, or you just expect to be good at it? So it's definitely different. And I think summer is honestly probably the most important time for a hockey player, because that's where you see improvements, or at least knock out some of your weaknesses.
Is there a skills guy that you're on the ice with that you work with regularly, or is it just like you and, like you said, a handful of pro guys?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with John Lounsbury ever since for years now. He obviously worked with the Oates group, and I feel like I think he's on his own, working his own company, 11, and I don't know. He just dude. Yeah, he's such a good hockey mind. He does my video during the year as well. So he breaks down games and just shows me whether it's positives or negatives. But ever since I started skating with him, I just feel like the game has slowed down for me, because I always thought it was, you got to go 100% into this puck or into this situation. And it's like, I see guys like a guy I skate with, Johnny Marino, who sometimes during the skate, he won't break a sweat, but like the way he moves and the way he can defend and just put himself in a situation to succeed, it's something that I think you need at that NHL level.
It paid off nicely for him recently too, right?
I know. Yeah, it did.
He had a great year as well. And it's awesome that you're able to come back home and skate with like-minded, age appropriate guys, and, working on the same things, and you get through that stuff. And something like that would be similar to, working on, like, say, weaknesses. Like, I loved what you just said, about like, just to have, as a hockey player, you make your gains in the summer and work on the weaknesses, because it's easy always to default to, like, let's just say you had a bomb. You're just going to shoot a ton of pucks. You're not getting better in any other area, right? But like, just you're swinging the net and you have to, have a slip pass backhand up the middle. or back into the wall because you're under pressure. You can't get it to the forehand. Like stuff like that, those small details are very important. And that's one of the things that, a lot of players will kind of revert back to is like, what are you good at and what are you going to, work on? Right. So I love what you just said, working on your weaknesses versus your strengths in the summertime. That's great stuff.
Exactly.
Great stuff. Well, Shazo, we appreciate you taking the time, buddy. I know you, you got some packing to do. You got a little getaway coming up here, so enjoy. Thank you again. Congratulations on, the off-season deal with the Oilers, and I guess we got to say, Motts, right? Let's go Oils.
Yeah, go Oil.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, super
thanks
pumped
for
you,
taking
man.
the time.
Yeah, and coming back on. And tell Dad we say hello.
Will do. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, bud. Motts, great catching up with Ryan Shea. Just a great kid. We're just so happy for him, right? He's a great guy. He's awesome and
great family,
great people. Just couldn't be more happy for a kid. Second guest we ever had on the show. Now we're into it, right? Like 287 episodes now. And, he's back around, and it's great to chat with a guy like that, to hear his story, to hear the grind, to hear just, the work that he's putting in on and off the ice, playing with those guys, the excitement that he has in his voice, just going to be able to, play for the Oilers next year is going to be awesome.
Yeah. And like what you just said, like about the grind, it's not just physical, it's mental as well. Right. So let's just say like he didn't have everything handed to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the cool part. Like he's earned everything, and we're wicked proud of him. Just coming out of Northeastern, being episode 2 as a guest, and like not sure what he was going into, and like we were just talking about that. I re-listened to it, and it's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
So like if you can compare the two, he's established now. He has some say level of comfort in the league. He got paid, but it's also like not just about the payment, it's about the term, and that's what he wanted, and that's so cool because he is such a valuable part of a team. And like talking to him about his positive skill sets, it's not sexy to the fans, it's not sexy to the score sheet, but that's what helps you win. And I can't wait for him to get multiple second assists or multiple first assists from below his own goal line, because he's making the right decisions. That 5-foot chip, that little pop pass to the middle to Connor McDavid. Whoops. All right.
Yeah.
So like I can't wait to watch him, and we've followed him obviously his whole career, but I'm super excited for him, and I was so happy that he took the time to hop on and chat.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a great kid, and excited to watch him this year, and always a treat to talk to him. And like I said, and I've said it before, right? A kid that, I remember running D skills a couple summers ago, right? He's already playing. He's playing in the league, and you were, I think going out to Surrey at the time. I'm like, hey, dude, I need you. Like, can you help me out? And he's there. It's like, and jumped out on the ice, helped out, running the camp. Running a clinic, I should say, a couple of years ago. And you're like that type of kid, right? That will just do anything for you and do anything for his family and friends, and anything for his teammates. And that's why he was rewarded the way he was. Neutral Zone, right? Those guys, they were up at the U15 tournament. I was following it all weekend long. They were up at the U15 Nationals, and they just do a great job. Unbiased opinion, ranking players, getting, just great scouting reports from those young ages, and tracking them all the way from the early teenage years into the 20s. So neutralzone.com, use Rink Shrinks for 20% off your order.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see Ryan Shea's.
That would be good.
Yeah,
be really good.
Neutral Zone reports, but those guys are in the ranks. They're unbiased, expert eyes. So make sure you use Rink Shrinks for 20% off your order at neutralzone.com.
Now it's time for Mott's Moment Lock of the Week, presented by FanDuel. Mott's 20 and 25, right? Last week we had the bonus one. That was, a tough dash too, with both Argentina losing to Spain and France losing to England this past weekend. that World Cup final game was weird too. It was like, very defensive. Obviously, that was fun to watch.
But it was
great
exciting.
It was. And Argentina still had some chances, towards the end to possibly extra time, and they're in, down a man, which was crazy. But it was fun to watch this weekend, right? The Blues. Geez, I was going to say the Blue Sox, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays. The Red Sox have been hot as hell, by the way, right?
Yeah.
What'd they do? 15 wins in a row?
Yeah, 15 in a row. Tied a franchise record. I was there for the tire.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice,
so we got rained out on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Was able to make it to the makeup game, doubleheader.
Oh, beautiful the 135 start.
Yep.
Beautiful day. The tops off. That's a big thing now.
I know.
Liam went on Saturday, and he just sent us a picture like that. He's got his shirt off in the stands. I'm like, oh boy.
The kid in front of me had a jersey on, and then he had an undershirt. I'm like, dude, tops off, no? He's like, nah. He's a little squidgy, He's just like, nah. But he was waving it around. But yeah, that's a thing right now. But I'm super happy that they made a real push. The Sox.
Yeah. It got the fever back for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was watching even when they were losing, and they were finding ways to lose. Now they're finding ways to win. So as far as this weekend with the Blue Jays, we got Sonny Gray going against Dylan Cease, and Sonny Gray was a snub on the All-Star ballot. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in the AL. I am not going against our home team. They're going to get back on. Yeah, they're going back on the winning ways. They have to make up a little bit more ground, but they have to just beat AL East teams. So it's like one of those things where.
Is this game in Boston? Do we know on Saturday?
You know what? I'm not 100%.
Check this out.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Because that could play a factor here.
Well, actually, it doesn't for my pick.
Okay. All right. Yeah. While we're looking that up, make the pick. Lock it in, kid.
Well, then that is the lock of the week, only because Sonny Gray with his tilted brim, and I like how he takes his hat off and puts it on his glove as he's walking to the dugout.
Yeah, he's got some swagger to him.
Yeah, he has some swag, but he doesn't blow anyone away. He has 4 pitches that he can get you out with. And at the end of the day, I'm going to say Boston against Toronto on Saturday. Take it. Lock it in.
Lock it in. I agree. They've been fun to watch. It's at home. Okay. All right. Yeah. Alan just came through with that as
cool.
well.
Thanks, Alan.
And lock it in. Sox at home, playing the Blue Jays. We don't have the odds up there yet on FanDuel, but make sure you go over there, check it out, and get in on the action, right? So that wraps it up. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks to Ryan Shea. And thanks for, thanks for being out there, right? It's a blast. We're in the off season right now, but it's fun to talk hockey. It's fun to have great guests on and talk to guys like Ryan Shea for a bit and go from there. So thanks again to everybody for listening. Don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and write a review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. This show is presented to you by FanDuel, and it's time to cue the Rink Shrink Shuffle jersey.